Hello, happy Wednesday witnessing tip. Gina Zimpelman here.
And Mark Harris here. And Gina, it's good to have you back this week.
Yes, it's good to be back. Yes, I was gone last week on a little spring break trip with my family. We went skiing in Montana.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Everyone made it back safely, so that was...
If we pan down, you'll see her broken foot. No, not
I
really.
would get, every time I would see that sled come down the hill, you know, it would be carrying someone in it. I'd always get a little nervous that it was one of my kids, but we're all good. We're all back in one piece. So.
Oh, good.
So, kind of a big week in
Yes.
the Christian community, Holy Week, and lots of people are talking about the greatest love story ever told.
Right.
And one question that has come up is, you know, we are a ministry of witnessing to Mormons in love, and people are wondering how does the Mormon community celebrate Easter?
That's a really good question. The Mormon Church does recognize Jesus' resurrection. Mm-hmm. He does say he rose from the dead, and the significant part in Mormonism is that, you know, Jesus conquered physical death, which is part of Easter, but only part of it, and we'll get a little bit more into that on the witnessing tip. I think what is really interesting is that, like this Easter Sunday, for example, is the first Sunday in April. So, April Fool's Day, which we don't like to talk about, but the first Sunday in April is also when they always have their General Conference. They have that twice a year. Mm. And that is so important that, like in our area where there's a lot of LDS, that they actually televise the General Conference on TV and so forth, that most Mormons won't even go to church this Sunday.
Really?
Because they'll just stay at home and watch General Conferences Saturday and Sunday. And that's so much more important than Easter, that they won't hardly even go to church. And on General Conference, some of the speakers will probably mention Easter. A few years ago, you hardly ever heard of Easter mentioned. Now they at least are starting to mention Easter a little bit, but that surely is not the emphasis.
Really?
So in the Mormon Church, Easter is acknowledged, not really celebrated. You know, compared to how Christians celebrate it is nothing. And in fact, sometimes even some Mormons kind of complain about that. Like on some years where there's not General Conference, they do go to church because it's Sunday, but then they come back and they said, you know what, Easter was never even mentioned this Sunday. You know, I've had Mormons tell me that. And so it's, I always like to say they acknowledge that Jesus rose from the dead, but they don't really celebrate it.
Okay.
So So it's a lot different, and like any of the other things, like a lot of Christian churches have a Good Friday service or even a Maundy, Thursday service, but especially the Good Friday service, you know, they don't have any of that.
Right.
So I mean, you really don't celebrate it.
Okay. And if you tuned in last week when Pastor Cares was doing Witnessing Tip, you actually encouraged people to invite.
Right, and I actually heard from a couple people who said that they did.
Really?
And their LDS friends, I think in some cases it might be LDS missionaries, accepted the invitation.
To come to Good Friday service.
To come to Good Friday service. So I was just talking with somebody yesterday who was planning on doing that.
That's
too.
really neat. Yeah, and based on what you just said, that will be something
totally
different.
Totally different. They will never have experienced a service like that.
Yeah. Okay. So how can we use Easter in our witness then?
Right, yeah. The way to, and of course, everybody's talking about Easter.
Right.
You know, like I just said, Mormons do know about Easter. They do acknowledge that Jesus rose from the dead. Now, we expand this out beyond Mormonism. I would still say in today's society, most people at least know something about Jesus and Easter. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're going to find people who don't know anything that Easter is connected to Jesus, but I would say most people do. But probably, and especially with Mormons, but with everybody, people might know something about Easter, like he rose from the dead. They don't know the significance of Easter. And Easter is such a huge event that it's got multiple purposes or multiple proofs. But one of the things that I really want to emphasize is that for me, and for witnessing, I always like to call Easter my receipt. And that's kind of the tagline.
Your receipt. Okay.
The receipt.
Yeah.
And the way I explain this, and so how I would get into this is say, I'm so happy that at Easter I got the receipt for this bill. And people will say, what, what are you talking about? But see, when Jesus died on the cross, he said, it is finished. In the Greek, that's one word, tetelestai, and what was used to mark bills paid in full. So in a sense, what Jesus said, it is finished. He said, your debt is paid in full. But we really didn't get the receipt until Easter. On Easter, God the Father, in a sense, said, yes, it is paid in full. Here's the receipt. Here's the proof that Jesus paid for all your sins. Okay? And so to me, it's kind of like if you get a phone call, and let's say you bought a new car, and the dealer calls you up and says, why do you have that new car? We have no proof that you bought the car. And let's just say you can't find that receipt, and you say, man, how can I prove that I bought the car? But if you had that receipt right there, you wouldn't worry at all. You would just say, here's a receipt. I'll send you a copy. I'll bring a copy over. Here's a receipt. I bought the car.
I'm not worried.
I'm not worried. Yeah. Receipts take worry away.
Yeah.
Easter takes worry away. So personally, whenever anybody wants to say, I don't know if your debt has been paid for, you might still have to do something in order to be saved. You can pull out the receipt of Easter, and that's why I would say, I'm so happy at Easter I got that receipt.
Yeah.
And then share that with them also, that they can have that receipt also. So that's how I would, use Easter to witness, is to kind of use a tagline. It's a receipt.
Yeah, that's a great analogy, I think, and for a really important concept.
Yeah. And I've used it over the years, and people do connect with it.
Yeah.
So yeah. In fact, I'm going to be expanding a little bit with a video, a message, and Gina will tell you about that. And maybe also on the blog I'm writing this week, I'm going to be expanding on these concepts. So that could be also some more help for you.
Which is really great. I love when we have opportunity to do that, because people connect with different things.
Right.
It might be a video, it might be a blog. So you might find something that will be, the way that you want to share this concept.
Right.
So watch for that video message. If you are not on our email list, go ahead and drop a comment below, and you can message me your email, and we'll make sure that you get on that email list.
Is that going out tomorrow?
That will go out tomorrow. Yep, that's going to go out tomorrow. So I'll put a subscribe link in here too, so that you can subscribe to that. That's an easy way to join. And then as far as the blog goes, that gets posted on our Facebook page on every Saturday. So watch for that Saturday morning, and enjoy your Easter celebrations, your Easter joy.
Yes, enjoy it, and just remember, your debt has been paid in full, and you got the receipt.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, and thanks for joining us. Would love to hear from you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.